We begin today's broadcast with a question from a listener in Portland, Oregon, concerning the amillennial position. Revelation chapter 20 speaks about a 1,000-year period in which Christ will reign. Dr. McGee has stated that he holds to the belief that this 1,000-year reign of Christ is literal. The amillennialist believes that this period is symbolic and not literal. So this listener asks, according to the amillennial position, are we now living in and enjoying the millennium? And has all of Revelation prior to chapter 20 been fulfilled? Then he says there seems to be a chronological inconsistency in the amillennialist position.
First of all, let me say that it'd be very difficult to say what amillennialism definitely is, as there are many, many interpretations of it. There are some that believe that we're in the Great Tribulation period, and they feel we're in the Great Tribulation period, and sometimes you may get that feeling yourself, the way things are in the world. But I tell you, what's in the world today will be nothing compared to what the Great Tribulation will be. I was in a liberal seminary that I graduated from in my denomination, and there was two excellent teachers there that were conservative, but they taught in Bible the amillennial viewpoint, and there they believed that we were in the millennium. And so one day we had a very inquisitive student. He became later a very good evangelist, and he asked the professor a question. He said, now, you say we're in the millennium, and in the millennium, Satan is to be tied, be put in a bottomless pit and chained. And he says, how do you explain that? Because it's obvious that he's abroad today. And this professor came up with this very novel interpretation. He says, if you have a vacant lot that has in it a lot of nice grass, and you have a cow that you'd like to tether out, and so you take your cow and you take her to the lot and put a long rope on her and a stake you drive in the ground, and she can graze all around as far as that rope will let her go. And he says, now that's the way Satan is chained today. And I never shall forget, this young fellow says, well, that chain's long enough that he's able to get to me, I'll tell you that. Well, you see, it becomes almost ridiculous to make that kind of statement. But actually, that's the way that they do. They evaporate the 1,000 years, though, altogether. In the Greek alpha that's put amillennial changes the meaning of it to the opposite, and amillennial means there is no millennium. And that's the way that they attempt to get around it. And so they come up with the idea that there's no millennium. And that's another explanation, that there's no millennium, therefore we're not in the millennium. It's very strange, this viewpoint, and it never has been really classified and organized and made a theology as premillennialism has. I don't know why that it hasn't, but it certainly hasn't been. And by the way, the thing that you've sent me here is typical of amillennialism, that you've sent me the clipping out of the paper.